Week 0 is here, which means that week 1 is next week. So it's time to start previewing everything here for this pivotal, massive 2025 Oklahoma football season. Ryan Chapman here, co-publisher, Oklahoma Sooners on SA, alongside the great John Hoover. Also got Carson Field in the house, kicking off our week-long preview series, a little bit of roundtable action. And let's start here. Today's topic: who is going to be Oklahoma's most impactful newcomer, their newcomer of the year, whether that be transfer or freshman? John, I place this at your feet. Who do you think is going to be the most impactful newcomer? And again, this is non-John Mateer division,
Yeah.
for the Oklahoma Sooners this year.
No John Mateer, no Jaden Knott. These are not allowed. This is newcomers. I'm going to go with the defensive side of the ball because because we believe Brent Venables, as the defensive coordinator, is going to have this thing fixed long term, not just in 2024 like we saw last year. We're projecting that this Oklahoma defense is going to be what it used to be, right, every year. So in that vein, I'm picking Marvin Jones as my newcomer of the year. First of all, guys, he's the only player on the roster with a national championship ring, but he's kind of up against it time-wise these days. His dad was a legend in college football and the NFL. He comes in with to college football with all the five-star hype. Marvin Jr. comes to Oklahoma because he knows Brent Venables is a defensive coordinator. He's going to run that defense. This is it. This is his last chance to live up to the dad and the five-star. He's played in 36 games for Georgia and Florida State, which are two big-time programs. So he knows what it looks like, right? He's got just 10 starts in his first 3 years, 41 career tackles, 11 and a half tackles for loss, 6 sacks. But guys, this year with R. Mason Thomas on the other side, he's getting a lot of help in pass pro. R. Mason is, from the tight ends, from the running backs. And so these offenses are going to be throwing, they're going to be pulling their center out there. They're going to be pulling guards out there to block R. Mason. And so I predict a big year for Marvin Jones. 8 sacks, 12 tackles for loss.
Beautiful. Marvin Jones Jr. off the board. Carson will come to you next. You're looking at it, and I believe you're looking at the offensive side of the ball.
I am going offensive line. Obviously, so much roll around last year with 8 different starting lineups in the first 9 games. I think they find more consistency. Bill Beatenbow obviously has proven time and time again that he can produce some great offensive lines. I think a very impactful newcomer, the obvious answer would be somebody like Michael Fusi, huge freshman. I'm going with Derek Simmons, a transfer from Western Carolina. Played 2 seasons there after playing 1 at Abilene Christian and then 1 at the Division II level. And since he climbed up to the FCS ranks, he's been awesome, especially in pass blocking situations. I believe the stat is he has allowed 1 sack and 2 QB hits throughout all 3 seasons of protecting the quarterback on pass plays. That bodes extremely well for John Mateer, trying to live up to the hype that he comes into the season with. I think Derek Simmons, sure, a much smaller level of football, but an example that Bill Beatenbow pointed to was when Western Carolina played against NC State. Similar-ish level of competition, Power 4 program. He had really good grades from that game. Western Carolina kept it close in that game, and he said a big reason why was because of Simmons' performance on the offensive line. So if he performs similarly, I'm thinking somewhere in the high 70s as far as Pro Football Focus grades. I think he's going to be a standout, possibly opposite Michael Fasusi on the other side.
Yeah, I like it. I also am sticking with the offensive line. I'm going to go with the obvious answer. It is Michael Fusi. He is Oklahoma's 5-star freshman. Just days ago, last week, we talked to Bill Beatenbow, and he pointed Michael Fusi and Ryan Foje, his 2 stars, as guys that he's never quite seen this blend of skill, size, and mentality from those guys as 18-year-olds. Michael Fusi's talked about battling R. Mason Thomas every day in practice, all the lessons you learn. Who better to learn from than one of the best defensive ends in the SEC? And when you look at it, Derek Simmons on the other side of the line, right? They're not working him on the left side. So Jacob Sexton, he's got experience, but he's been banged up before. Is his best position even a tackle? That's an open question for him. Logan Howland got better last year, but did he get better because he had to, or did he get better because he's actually an option that can win you games at left tackle? I would put forth the LSU game and say Yeah, it got better, but we watched a lot of bad football, and LSU ran right through the left side of that offensive line. Throw your most talented guy out there, let him learn through the freshman mistakes, and you will raise the ceiling of this football team because it's going to change what John Mateer and Jaden Knott can do if you've got a five-star caliber athlete out there at left tackle in the SEC. And I think by the time LSU, Missouri, the back end of that schedule rolls around, we'll be looking at Michael Fasusi as one of those maybe like freshman All-American, a guy that's that talented. The buzz is that strong in Norman coming out of camp. And that's what I'm going to go with for the newcomer of the year here for the Oklahoma Sooners. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at the offense. Who's going to be the X factor? Who can elevate that ceiling as we continue to roll on toward game week in Norman? For Carson Field, for John Hoover, I'm Ryan Chapman. Remember, always hit the website, Oklahoma Sooners on SI.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, X, whatever it's called, as well as YouTube, John Hoover Media. Tomorrow for the X Factors on Oklahoma's offense.